So I want to show you guys another experiment that I've been working on. We wanted to grow some watermelon, but it was late in the season. We had 78 days left, and it's supposed to be an 80-day watermelon. So it's like, we're pretty close to, cutting it too short time here. Especially late season, you usually need to add an extra week or so at least, or you're not gonna get much of a crop. We actually did that with some corn. The corn just ended up being really short stalks, didn't have any fruit to it whatsoever. That was definitely a failure, but we wanted to see how the watermelon would turn out. So we've been actually covering this up with a tarp in the evenings that have been closer to 35 or below, which hasn't been too many nights so far. We did have one partial frost that did hurt some of the leaves on these plants here, but we planted 3 plants in the compost pile itself. The idea was kind of just to have that extra warmth from the composting process. We've got 4 watermelon that I can see, and we're getting close to ripe, at least on one of them. I think this one here is getting fairly close to ready. I've got a few that are trying to hide in these cinder blocks that divide these 2 sections of compost. And then I got one that's definitely stuck in here. But once it finally sounds good, you might have to just cut that one out. Actually, in some other countries, they'll use different forms and grow different types of melons in those forms just to get very unique shapes. It's very interesting thing, not something I actually was trying to do, just kind of lost track of that one and let it sit too long. But the plants so far are not fully dead, so we've got these on the vine still, trying to just keep them on the vine, let them ripen. So we're going to give these a little bit longer. I'm going to have a couple more nights to have to cover them up this week, but whenever we get to cutting those up, I'll show you guys what they look like and let you know the results. Obviously, though, we're looking at really small fruit and some extra legwork here at the end, trying to just make sure that they stay alive long enough to have that ripening time. I'll catch up with you guys whenever we get those cut open. Alright, so it's time. Let's cut into one of these watermelon. I've picked the biggest one here. Makes a pretty decent sound when you hit it. And it's got this yellowing to the bottom, which I've heard is a good sign of it being ripe. It actually smells pretty good. So there we go. This is probably going to be our best specimen out of all of these. This one and this slightly larger of the last 3 that are there. These 2 had a pretty good sound, but those other 2 really don't. But I've heard you can't actually get them any more ripe having them off the vine. So well, let's go ahead and see how this tastes. That's actually not bad. Yeah, that actually tastes really ripe. I'm actually, I'm surprised and I'm impressed. So I think takeaways on this, given that this one was ripe, that these were pretty small, ideally you would want to, have some more time out there. Obviously this isn't gonna feed a large family, but my oldest is 3.5, so it'll be a fun snack. I'm gonna go ahead and cut open this next one. Yep, I can tell already and smell this is not ripe, and can see the color's not right either. So, and this one was the next that sounded maybe okay. I'm gonna leave these out. And unless they somehow actually do ripen up, I probably won't actually do a follow-up video. I'll probably just let you guys assume that these weren't worth anything and they'll just get composted. But if those do turn out to be okay, then I'll let you know. But this one sounded somewhere in between the sound of this other and of those 2. So I thought I had a chance. It even smells underripe. Actually, the smell is closer to a cucumber kind of a smell. Go ahead and take a bite, just in case. It's a very unimpressive taste. and I only see white seeds to it as well. Where this one, the seeds had already been turning brown, so that I think also shows that it's not mature. Probably, if I'd let it sit on the vine longer, that would have worked out. However, the vines were all pretty much dead. I don't know that it's sitting on a vine that is dead does any better than it sitting off of a vine. That's why we went ahead and picked them. There is technically a 5th watermelon out there, but it's stuck in a cinder block, so I don't really anticipate that one doing anything for us either, but I'll let that one sit a while longer and maybe try it later. But again, if it's not any good, and if these two aren't any good, we'll just consider this experiment somewhat a success, but a very limited success. So I'd say if you want to do a late season just because you have some space and some time, you can certainly follow those guidelines for the days to maturity. However, if you want a bigger watermelon and more watermelon to your crop, I'd recommend definitely adding at least a half a month to another month to that amount in order to get that, because I can imagine if this had been given extra time, we would have had a lot larger of a watermelon. So instead of 78 days on an 80-day watermelon, maybe doing 100 days, 110 days would probably work out really well. I'm gonna go ahead and finish dicing that up and eating that. Thanks for watching. Not as good as the first one, but it's definitely better than that second one I cut up.